Yeah, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here. And Asif, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm really humbled to be standing here. So as Asif mentioned in his keynote, climate change is one of the biggest challenges we are facing as humanity. And if you know that this year, 18 million hectares of forest was consumed by forest fires in Canada. That's 2 times the size of the province of New Brunswick. So we are really seeing the impact here. So when you look at the heavy industry in Canada, it creates about 80 megatons of carbon dioxide emissions per year. And my topic today in Industrial Metaverse is about how do we make the industry more efficient so that the industry can do more with less. But before I do that, I take this opportunity to introduce my company, Siemens. So this gentleman you see on the screen is Werner von Siemens. He's the founder of Siemens. The company was founded in 1847. And can anyone guess on his left shoulder there's a piece of equipment like with a dial? Can anybody guess what is that? Of course, it's 1847. It's the pointer telegraph. And that's what he invented then. And if you look, there's a ship there as well as C.S. Faraday, a Siemens ship. That has history in Canada. Because this ship laid a telegraph line between Canada from Halifax to Ireland. And that was in 1874. That was the first digital connection between North America and Europe. So that's our history in Canada. So we are a global technology company operating in 190 countries. We have about 311,000 employees, a big Siemens family. We have solutions and products in the area of electrification, automation, and digitalization, and we operate in almost all sectors of the industry. We do reflect, time and again as a management team we are reflecting, and 176 years is a lot. And we reflect how come we have survived for 176 years. If you look at the Fortune 500 list and you go back a couple of decades, you will see a lot of companies which were in the Fortune 500 list no longer exist today. And when we reflect, we feel there are 2 things which have made sure that we are still there and we are still relevant. The first one is innovation. Innovation is the lifeblood of our company. So we spend $8 billion every year on research and development. What that does is it creates more than 4,500 inventions, new things every year. If you would do the math, there's 20 inventions per day. And with these new inventions, we add value to our customers, but we also sometimes disrupt our own selves. We disrupt our older products with new products. We disrupt even the company. I've seen that in the last 30 years. 3 times Siemens disrupting itself from business model, from area of focus, etc. The other element, which is very, very dear to my heart, is that we are a company whose main core value is that we say that the main purpose of any company is to create benefit for the society. In other words, if a company is not doing that, it has no right to exist. And that is something which drives me, and that's why I stayed in this company for more than 30 years. And so at Siemens, it's not all about the financials. It is about what impact we create in the society. We measure it, we call it business to society. And just as we're talking about climate change, in 2022, because we have the figures audited, Siemens innovative products reduce the carbon footprint at our customers by 150 million tons. And in Canada, we also measure that. So on your table, there is a report, it is called Business to Society, and you can see what societal impact Siemens in Canada has every year. So that's our report. And there's only one per table because my sustainability manager, I agreed with her. He said, don't produce too much paper. So there's a barcode in there, and you can see there. So maybe a few words before I jump into the industrial metaverse. It's about Siemens Canada. So we have about 4,200 employees in 33 offices and manufacturing locations all across Canada. And we are using technology to address climate change. So we are facilitating the energy transition through our smart grid technologies. We are helping the electrification, driving the electrification of the transportation sector. We're very strong in charging systems. We did the first industrial bus charging system in Montreal in North America. And we are also helping to decarbonize buildings, which was mentioned before, that's 40% of energy is used in buildings. We are driving the fourth industrial revolution, and that's what I'm going to talk about today on the industrial metaverse. We are helping our customers on their digital journeys. And most importantly, through our Cyber Defense Center in New Brunswick, which focuses on critical infrastructure, we are helping protect the critical infrastructure of Canada. And then our vision. We want to be the most diverse and inclusive organization in Canada. That's the vision. We work towards it every day. So now let's jump into this topic of the metaverse. By a show of hands, can you tell who knows what a metaverse is? Okay, not that many people. So a metaverse is a virtual, immersive environment. It's a fantasy world where you can go into wearing virtual reality goggles or augmented reality goggles, and you can go into this fantasy world. The gaming industry is a bit about that. And in this metaverse, you can meet people, you can play games, you can do marketing, you can do business. In fact, there are so many people who have invested money to buy a virtual shop in the metaverse. So that's the metaverse. And to be honest, being a father of 3 children, I'm very scared of the metaverse because it's already a big challenge to take my kids away from their smartphones. And just imagine they would wear glasses and they would immerse into a whole new world. It would be absolutely difficult to get them out because it's a fantasy world. And some people say that the time would come once the metaverse is mature enough that a lot of people will live in the metaverse, will just come out to have food and do other things. So that's the metaverse. But I'm going to talk about the industrial metaverse. And that is different. Because industrial metaverse is the same immersive, realistic, virtual environment. But it is a digital twin. It's a replica of a real physical asset. And that makes it different because now in the industrial metaverse, because it's a replica of a real physical environment, you can go in the industrial metaverse and solve real world problems. And that's why I feel industrial metaverse has a lot of potential to help solve many of the things, many of the challenges we are facing today. So let's look at a brief history. Now I'm coming back to the metaverse, the metaverse in general, of the metaverse. So this all started in October 2021 when Facebook announced the metaverse. And in fact, Facebook even changed its name and said Meta. And we know that today. A year later, Facebook had spent $15 billion on their Reality Lab metaverse venture. They put all their bets on it. And Mark Zuckerberg, who's the founder of Facebook, he said, this is our single largest investment to advance artificial intelligence. At the same time, Gartner report said that by 2026, 25% of the people will at least spend 1 hour in the metaverse. McKinsey said the metaverse is going to add about $5 trillion of value. And not to be left behind, Citibank also came with a very extensive report that was saying it's a $13 billion dollar opportunity. But then suddenly, in that same month, we saw that Disney laid off its entire team, which was doing metaverse interactive storytelling, and a month later, Walmart also shut down its Universal Play metaverse completely. And then came this famous article from Etc., which said, RIP Metaverse. And just to quote him, he said, the death of the Metaverse should be remembered as arguably one of the most historic failures in tech history. So from that hype which we saw on the Metaverse, suddenly it's dead, everybody's saying it's a hype. And now my question to all of us is, and to myself as well, is the industrial Metaverse also a hype, or there is hope that this will go forward? But in general, I'm going to share with you and my view that any technology which is groundbreaking, which changes, it's never a revolution. It's always an evolution. And let's talk about a technology we all know very, very well, and that's the internet. So do you know internet was invented in 1960 somewhere? And at that time, the people who even invented it and the people who were around there had no idea what this technology is going to do. And so just look at one element, and I know there are so many different applications which we use with the internet today. But one of the applications was two-way communication, voice over IP. So it's invented in 1960s. By 1993, only 1% of the two-way communication was going through over the internet. By 2000, 51% communication was going over internet, and then by 2007, 97%. So now almost all of the communication is going through the internet of things, and we all use WhatsApp and everything, and it's all good. So what I'm saying is, it's always an evolution. And so what I'm going to tell you is that the industrial metaverse, because you could say, okay, if it's an evolution and it was just came in 2020, then it's going to take 10, 20 years, not in my lifetime, we'll see. But I'm telling you that this industrial metaverse is already in evolution since 1985. We started with this basic computer-aided design. It's like the single physics, single dimension. We moved into the SCAD. I think a lot of people know computer-aided design is two-dimensional multi-physics. And then we have this product lifecycle management that's model-based engineering, where you can model a product and then you can simulate and test it into a virtual environment. And then we are already living the era of the digital twins. Which started in 2015. I am experiencing it right in front of me because my company is in this business. And it's very, very powerful. And the industrial metaverse is just the one step after the digital twin, the era of the digital twin. So we are almost getting there. So digital twins today are being used in many, many industries. Almost all the automotive industry uses digital twin to design their cars. And the aerospace industry uses the digital twin. You can imagine if you are designing an airplane, you don't have the opportunity to do too many tests, because you fly a plane that doesn't work, it will crash, and that's the end of your company and your product. So the aerospace industry, also in Montreal, uses the Siemens PLM 10X software, and they simulate the plane vibrations, all the impact, etc., in a virtual environment before they are making any changes in the real environment. So it's all tested, it's all already there and happening. And who's interested in Formula One? So we partner with Red Bull, and Red Bull has a digital twin of their car, and the engineers work on it. They designed it. And it's always a performance game. It has to be better. Every race has to be better, etc., etc. So I'll share a very interesting fact because we work very closely with them, is that just between the races, when the season starts, they're racing. Every week, Red Bull engineers are making, on an average, 1,000 changes to the car. And they're all testing them in a virtual environment before they put it on the car. And if you follow Formula One, you will see that they're actually doing pretty well if you compare with others. So that's the digital twin. Very interesting example. This is Unlimited Tomorrow, and they are into limbs, bionic limbs. And do you know 57 million people today have limb loss? So having a bionic limb is very expensive, could not be afforded. So Unlimited Tomorrow said, we want to cut down the cost by 90%. We want to make it affordable to almost all these 57 million people. And they have used the digital twin technology to design their artificial limbs. And because what you can do, and the main issue was in the sockets, which connects to the residual limb, because it's not only a physical fitting, it has all the sensors, so it has to really fit properly for it to go bionic. And they use this, and they use a digital twin, they designed it, they have put technology on it, they can optimize it, and it costs 90% less now, and hopefully a lot of people will, especially the wars going on these days, are going to hopefully benefit from this technology. Another very interesting example, this is Siemens factory in Nanjing, and it's the first native digital twin factory. And when I say native digital twin factory, I mean we designed this factory first in a virtual environment, completely, before even ground was broken. We tested it, we looked at different elements, and this factory, when we compare with similar factories of the same type, is 20% more productive, so 20% less carbon footprint, and then 40% more flexible in terms of output, in terms of production, and also in terms of space utilization. So you can see that you can already start getting the industry to more with less and become more productive. This is a very interesting example. So Siemens was founded in Berlin, and there is a whole city because there are so many employees in Berlin. So we call it the Siemens Stadt, and we said we want to make the first carbon neutral district in Berlin. And we're working on it. So at the moment, we have a digital twin. You can wear a virtual reality glasses and you can go in. And we're testing different technologies in that district in a virtual environment. And we are seeing, okay, what is the impact of the carbon footprint? And the one very interesting thing which the mayor of Berlin also, I think, likes and everybody likes, that gives an opportunity to small and medium-sized enterprises to bring in their products and test them in a digital twin and show and demonstrate what their impact would be on sustainability. And so it's a very exciting project. We showcase it also in our office in Oakville, if anybody's interested. Now coming to the industrial metaverse. We're here talking about climate change, talking about sustainability. Do you know that today we are using nature 1.7 times than the planet can recover? Then it can regenerate. And in Europe, it's 3.1 times, and we in North America, 5 times. So if we keep on going like this, we are going to deplete Earth completely. The biodiversity will be gone. Somebody was talking about this 1.5% and 2%. And do you know our target for 2015? Okay, we will allow 1.5% of temperature increase. That will eradicate 4% of biodiversity. If this 1.5%, people say, oh, it's already lost cause, let's talk about 2. When this 1.5% goes to 2%, 8% of biodiversity is gone. And this is our estimation, things are even moving faster. So the industrial metaverse is about, how do we do this? And I mentioned even the Canadian industry is using 80 million tons. So now the industrial metaverse, what is the industrial metaverse? Industrial metaverse is also a digital twin, but it is highly immersive. And you can see, once you go into this factory, which is a digital twin, it will be difficult for you to even tell if you're in the new rail factory or in the other factory. The more interesting thing is, it's 100% synchronized. So exactly what is happening in the rail factory is happening in the metaverse. And that is a huge opportunity. For example, if you have an issue in the factory, you can immerse in there and you can, so it's totally photorealistic. But there is more to it. There is another element which I want to share with you, which will impact this, what it does. So we talked about the digital twin. That is the first technology which is out there. The industrial metaverse, because it's a real-time twin, there is a lot of more technologies there. Of course, the IoT, because there's so much data coming in into this, we need edge computing. So we cannot send all the data to the cloud and back. That would be not environmentally friendly as well. So edge computing means you have the data and you have the technology on the machines themselves. But and there's virtual reality, and of course 6D, we are waiting for it. But there is one thing which is going to change a lot. And it's going to change a lot for a lot of people. And that is artificial intelligence and machine learning. And especially, I think we all are, who's using ChatGPT today? A lot of people, yeah. So this is going to change. And I'll show you some examples which we are working with. So this is, I'm taking an example from battery manufacturing. You know, Canada is investing heavily in battery manufacturing. We are well placed, we have green energy. 7 mega factories is coming for Volkswagen, Northvolt, etc. Also in Ontario. And so this is a robot for picking up these batteries along the production line and then also putting on the back. And you know, even from our older cars, the batteries are very heavy. So it's just a smaller battery, but you can imagine a big car battery, how heavy it would be. So this front thing which holds the battery is called the gripper. And this gripper has to be designed very properly because the inertia on it is very, very strong, it's very heavy, it moves, it has to move like this and put the battery up there. So there's a whole team of people who goes there, designs this gripper, tests it, and of course the robot itself. So now, you take generative AI, you tell what it has to do, and this is a real actual thing which you are seeing here. It will work over the weekend and it designed a new gripper. We have no clue how it's going to look like. And this is how it looks like. And this gripper can pick up the battery in the same way. And we're just talking about 3D printing. So it has no ways, it has 2 parts. The old gripper had many, many different parts. And actually, then we said, okay, let's test it in the metaverse, in the digital twin metaverse. And actually, it did pretty well. And it's doing it perfectly well. And so this is what generative AI is doing and is going to do further. There's another example I will share. So when you have a robot like this, when you buy a robot, it's done. It has a gripper, it can do things, but you have to train the robot. So before I do that, so with the generative AI, you could reduce the weight of the robot by 80% and reduce 90% CO2 reduction because it was 2 parts. When you calculate everything, 1, 2, 3 level emissions. So this is why I say the industrial metaverse and backed up with artificial technologies, intelligence technologies, is going to create an impact because we will bring the footprint down. You remember the large phones we used to have, now we have small. So it's going, and then quantum computing will totally bring it to a different level. So we will bring our footprint down using technology. So coming back to the training example, so usually when you buy a robot, you have a whole team which comes together and trains the robot. It's like pretty dumb. Let's do this, then do this, don't pick this up and pick it from there, pick it from there. It's a whole process to train it. Now what we did, we put it on the Gen AI module, showed the part, how it looks like, and now it's going to automatically learn through visual elements. The AWS Twin Maker, the camera and the data. and it is style learning. And Friday you start, you come back on Monday, it's trained the robot. You can upload it on the robot, and again test it, it did really well. It just fixed it perfectly. So this is what Gen AI is doing. So now, maybe I stop there. So I'm going to show you, we're working together with a battery manufacturing company. It's called Fryer. They create mega battery plants for other companies. And they're in Norway. And what we are working with them is we are creating an industrial metaverse of their factory, which has not been produced yet. It's not there. And we are simulating everything. So now I also mentioned, the industry uses energy, but at the same time, industry uses a lot of resources. So do you know that in battery manufacturing, there's up to 30-40% scrap? Because the nature of the business is in a way that you create this battery, you only know its performance of the cathode, etc. Once you test the fine test, oh, it wasn't good, scrap it. It's a heavy thing to scrap. And now what AI is doing, and now what technology is doing, like if you can simulate a digital twin of the slurry mixer. Slurry mixing is where you're mixing all the chemicals, etc., and all the different components for the electrode. That process, once you have the data and have the twin, you will be able to see how it's mixing and what will be the performance upfront. So you can, if there's not a good mixing going on, you can stop there and you can, instead of scrapping, you can improve your process. So I'll just give you a view. There's a whole simulation on it, but to give you an experience, of course, we don't have virtual reality glasses, but you're going to see how it can look like. So it's in Norway, it's almost real. You go in there in the metaverse, and this is the loading bay. And we're going to move to where the slurry mixing happens. That's the pre-process of a battery manufacturing plant. And then you will see the slurry mixer there. It's just a test equipment because on the real slurry mixer there's IP, so we could show. But what it does is it can really simulate what is happening inside the mixture. So you can color the different chemicals, different products which are going in there, and then you can predict the performance. Another thing, you can also simulate your production line. So you can see what is the flow, how the people will move, how the material has to move around the line. So it's quite exciting. I'll just show you some advantages and some of the examples which really help. So the first thing, the industrial metaverse is not like only a virtual fantasy environment where you're seeing everything, oh wow. You can see where the electricity is coming, where it is being used, what it costs, what are the CO emissions, etc. And once you know it, you can go in the industrial metaverse and optimize your process and see, is it reducing energy consumption or not. The second example, I love this example. I really love this example because when they were testing this, you see, you can also look at economic factors. So the metaverse, the AI said, you see the diagram. So you can put in people the way you want. So somebody chose a 5-foot lady to work on this machine. And it shows that when she's working and putting, making connectors, the green side is showing, oh, it's fine, it's okay. But the digital twin told on the right picture, there's this red dot. It said that if this person is going to keep on doing this, she will have a back issue. And this is the prediction, which is extremely important. So in this case, what they did, they gave the ability to this platform to tilt up a bit. So if you come on the other side, you can tilt it up and the reach becomes easier. Again, as I said to you, so it's the twin maker makes it possible to combine the visual with the data. And this is an example where one of the robots was jerking. And in normal factory, what will happen? Something not working, the line is not working. People will fly over from all over the world and try to fix it, find it, take some time. In this case, you go virtually in from your living room, you go into the virtual environment, you rewind it, and you see exactly where to jerk. And you identify the problem, you bring the specialists together, and you can also get it prepared, because now with Amazon glasses, with the Microsoft glasses, you can just give one instruction with the other. You don't need to really get it. So that's a few examples so we aren't there yet. There is no industrial metaverse. We're working on the first ones. And the reason why we are not there is there's a lack of connectivity between the machines. And for an industrial metaverse, it has to be 100% synchronized, and all the data has to come. There's a lack of interoperability between the different equipments. We all have been very, we don't let other people share our equipment. And I was just trying to present this test presentation on my TV with my what do you call this Apple TV, and I have a Windows computer, and I cannot connect. My iPad I can connect in 1 second. So this is the kind of issue we have in the industry as well. And then there's a bit of skills. It's a new field. So what we are doing at Siemens is we have created a platform where only products, it's a marketplace, where only products can come which are fully open, which are interoperable, which are flexible. So these are products which are open to everybody. They are open APIs. You can connect with them. You can use them. And we are working with an ecosystem of partners at the moment, around 90 to 100 partners. And because we know if you want to build an industrial network, everybody has to work together, and we have to connect with this. So that's what we are doing. And now I will maybe again ask, is it hype or it's hope? I personally feel it's a hope, because we will be able to really solve real life problems in the virtual world. Now my final message will come now, and that's my real message to you. I know it's technology, and I work for a technology company, so I'm loaded a lot of technology on you. That's my job. That's what we do. You saw the example of designing this robot, and we let the Gen AI do it, and the Clipper. In the past, 20, 30 people, a team of 20, 30 people designed this tool. So if this Gen AI is doing it over the weekend, what about the job of these 20 people? You saw robotic training. It's a whole field. A lot of people sit there and design robots. What happens to them, right? And I very boldly said, if a company cannot create benefit for society, it has no right to exist. But then, am I now disrupting society? Because these people may lose a job, and there's well-being of people. And that's a really heavy question, which we have to see. I think the good news, and there's a whole analysis from many, many companies, that there will be 7% more jobs. When Gen AI is let loose, there will be 7% more jobs in the economy than we have today. That is the good news. And this is a proven fact, because when the tractors were first invented, everybody said, the farmers will go jobless. No, they didn't go jobless. Other things happened. So every innovation, every disruption has created more jobs than less jobs. So this we can be sure about. But as leaders who are all in this room, it is our utmost responsibility to take the people who are being disrupted with us and train them into the new technologies where the opportunities are going to come. And I will leave you with this one story from the gentleman I showed you in the beginning, Werner von Siemens, who was the founder of Siemens, because when he created the pointer telegraph, it was a bit of a disruption. So one day, a lady knocked at his door in Berlin and said, "Mr. Werner von Siemens, you are disrupting the well-being of my family." And he was a very social man. He got a bit shocked. He said, "What did I do?" And he said, and she was in the business of these homing pigeons, carrier pigeons, which transmit. So there are pigeons taking news from one city to another, going from Düsseldorf to Brussels at that time. And her business and her husband's business was hopelessly getting destroyed because the telegraph was much simpler. And so the Werner took it to heart, and when he got the order from the British Empire to lay the telegraph line between London, UK, to Calcutta, he went back to this couple and said, I advise you to come with me and we will help you. Come with me to London and open a news dispatch center. You can send your news even further away than we originally are doing. And this family listened to the advice and they went there and they did pretty well. And guess what? What was the name of this couple? Mr. and Mr. Reuters, right? And this is, and then one writes in his diaries that Baron Reuters did pretty well when he listened to advice. So this is the spirit I just want to share, that as we are disrupting, we need to take everybody with us, and there's more opportunity. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thanks, sir.
So BDC. Okay. Okay. So BDC is 100% federal government-owned bank. Our main aim at BDC is to empower entrepreneurs and empower people who are looking to start a business. And at the end of the day, that would contribute to a better, a stronger, more resilient Canadian economy. So BDC has about 95,000 clients. We are literally, you can find us everywhere in Canada. We have about 2,600 employees, but we have I think we have a center in every major urban center in Canada, and if not, we have coverage for even the rural areas. So we once had a Pakistani account manager who used to live up in Yukon, and he was serving the territory there. So we had that range and we had that reach. Our clients are 94% satisfied with how we help them, whether it be our products such as term loans, advisory, anything that we do, we want the clients to be successful. So, what makes us different from the other lenders out there? So BDC has a unique position in the lending sector. We are not a chartered bank. We do not have bank accounts. We do not have personal lines of credit. We don't do residential mortgages. What we do is commercial financing, and I feel like we do that very well. Our repayment schedules are longer. We work with the entrepreneurs, we work with companies to make sure that their cash flows are not restricted. We want to offer them, we offer even sometimes in some like seasonal payments where we match their payments to their cash flow that may be in different seasons. We have a very high risk tolerance, and I'll explain, and I'll have an example for you guys later to see what kind of business can we finance and how we help businesses in general. Our terms and conditions are very flexible. We are pretty open to discussing. We don't have anything we don't come up with new conditions as we move forward. Once you're with us, we make sure that we take care of you, as well as, and we do not put in any conditions which are not required or if there is not a due clause for them. We have a commitment to sustainability. We are totally on board with building a sustainable future for the generations to come, helping entrepreneurs in building businesses which are sustainable as well as which will be better for our kids and then their kids as well. We also do customized, we have advisory solutions because sometimes money just isn't enough. We help clients to better their understanding of businesses, better their processes, all through advisory, and we have a very strong advisory team. So 90% of our clients tell us that we have had a very positive impact on their business. 9 out of our 10 clients who have taken our advisory mandate tell us that they are better from what they were before, which I think is a big compliment for us because it tells us that we're doing something right and we're helping the entrepreneurs that we're meant to be helping. BDC we're also a very good shock absorber for businesses. Actually, BDC does better in times of recession. In the 2008-2009 recession, we were there for our customers, we were there for businesses, helping them through it. We also helped a lot of clients with the COVID-19 pandemic. We all knew that 2020 was, and we were all clueless in the beginning as to what would happen, how the economy would survive, and we ended up doing I feel like we did a pretty good job. So we have three main lines of services which we offer. One is financing. We'll do anything from a startup who's just $0 in revenue to a very large-scale manufacturing company. We have a venture capital team, which is probably the biggest venture capital firm in Canada, and we have advisory services. So our financing part, what I'll talk to you about, our financing, the main thing is that we are very patient and we're a very flexible lender. Even I've seen examples in my career where businesses weren't able to pay out maybe for whatever reason. We've always sat with them on the table. We've encouraged them to come to us first whenever they have a problem so we can find a good solution for them. And either they can go back to what they were doing better or wrap up things. We provide working capital to clients. We provide, if your receivables are overdue, that's where we're going to come in. We're going to help you out. We primarily do term financing. We help you buy a business. We help you buy real estate. We help you start a business. We have a tech team which even will help you in a tech-related business. We help you to export you in new markets. We have very close ties to EDC, Export Development Canada as well, and we can help you with that as well. And I'll now come to an example, which is a company I actually financed myself. This is not a regular thing. So this business came to us. I think it was pre-COVID. There were two guys that were looking to start a business where they installed baby car seats into people's cars. At that time, had my first kid. And I had installed a car seat in my own car, and I didn't believe them because, who wants to pay people to install their baby car seats? So I took them downstairs and I said, hey, this is a car seat which I've installed, and then why don't you guys show me what you guys do? So when they moved my car seat, the car seat was only moving. So they took 5 minutes, they installed my car seat in my car, and when I moved the car seat, the entire car was moving. That's when I understood that there is maybe a market for this, because me being a new parent, I was like, okay, that's how bad of a job I had done. So we realized that there would be a market for this, and their plan was basically to start off with car seat installs, eventually sell them, and then go into houses and make them baby-proof as well. So we gave them starter financing. They were brand new. And I remember that I sat with them, we did the logo design with them, we saw the spot that they were looking to rent. And it was a really, really good experience. And again, right, it's an example which I go back to quite a lot because it tells you what kind of financing or what kind of ideas the BDC is willing to do. And it's just about getting the entrepreneurs there. The next example I have is a bit more serious. It was a business purchase. It was a tooling company which was buying a machining company. He had the business itself. We went there, very old business. I think the owner had made the first amphibious car as well, which was somewhere in his web storage. We saw that the owner was looking to retire. His son was not interested in taking over the business, so our client, we became his lender. There were other offers from other financial institutions as well, but the flexibility in terms of a longer repayment schedule, we were open to taking security only on the equipment that we were looking to financing, which left space for his chartered bank to come in and provide him with a line of credit to help him with working capital. This helped the buyer to enhance it. He vertically integrated his business. Now, from tooling, he had gone into machining as well, which obviously was better for him. And now I know that he's bought the property that he was occupying as well. So that was a pretty good example. It was a pretty good deal, and it was a lot of fun learning about just how different businesses work. So I'm now going to invite George to take over the presentation and continue on.
Thank you, Shamar. Hi everyone, my name is George Basso. I'm a Senior Commercial Account Manager at Mississauga City Center branch for BDC. I'm here to talk to you about BDC Capital, BDC Advisory, and our BDC Sustainability and Diversity Initiatives. So our investment arm, BDC Capital, plays a prominent role in fostering a healthy, vibrant Canadian innovation ecosystem through its 4 divisions. So growth and transition capital, venture capital, equity, growth equity, intellectual property-backed financing. So growth and transitional capital provides customized financing to pursue growth opportunities. Growth opportunities offer full range of solutions such as mezzanine financing, cash flow and quasi-equity, flexible terms to both mid-market and high-growth Canadian companies. We're offering financing to establish high-growth companies that don't have enough tangible assets to pledge for security and don't want to dilute ownership. Our solutions allow businesses to raise funds when they need flexible capital and goes beyond traditional senior lender options. We support projects such as R&D, product and market development, family succession, management and partner buyouts, and buying competitors or suppliers' businesses. The key benefit to our growth and transition capital financing are flexible capital and return structure to adopt the needs of the company, optimization of the capital structure of the company to make the best use of debt and equity, debt instruments that limit dilution ownership and offer forward alternative to equity finance. Our second division, our venture capital arm, in fact, we're Canada's most active VC investor. We are involved at every single stage of company's development cycle from seed to expansion, and our investment period averages from 7 to 10 years. This is a high-risk investing. We work with promising entrepreneurs, angel investors, and other venture capital firms to invest in outstanding Canadian businesses. Through direct investing in other venture capital funds. We have more than 3 billion capital under management and 200 plus portfolio companies, investees, supported directly through the fund. Our third arm capital division is growth equity partners, and we make minority equipment investment into mid-market growth companies who look into growth exponentially. This is entrepreneurs managing mid-market growth businesses, and we lead to be our sole partner in the transaction. Our non-controlling interests ensure that entrepreneurs maintain control in the company. On the advisory side, our advisory services help entrepreneurs work smarter. Our goal is to help you adopt and incorporate best practices to meet your business. Secondly, we want your business to be more agile and more efficient. We can help you improve your operations, streamline processes, implementing lean manufacturing, and selecting the right equipment and technology for your business. We also help your organization capabilities to manage your business effectively. First, we can help address your specific needs, like optimizing your online sales. And we do that through accelerating growth, improve efficiency, build digital capabilities, manage your business, find new markets, and increase sales. Next, we want to talk about a few client success stories. So Joel is the CEO and founder of Transport Guinea, which offers unique microclimate sensors and a robust network to enable the humane transport of animals from the farm to their next destination. His products provide peace of mind, farmers, food companies, and consumers that livestock is treated humanly. Joel needed a structured strategic plan to bring his unique product to the market and grow the business on a national and international level. BDC Advisory Services team worked closely with Joel to develop a comprehensive strategic plan to guide his decisions and actions to successfully grow his business. While BDC's help of experts, he developed a growth revenue plan, defined the company's sales approach, developed a phased market strategy to enter the market, created a product development, and established a revenue growth plan option to build this plan base in a very short time. He is now well positioned for rapid growth. Another planned success story is Da Vinci Bikes, who's Canada's largest bike manufacturer. They had hit a wall even though the pandemic led to an explosion in demand for bicycles, bicycle parts. They needed to manufacture and assemble them, tied up to their side of who were tied up in the other side of the Pacific. Tens of thousands of containers were stuck at different ports. Fortunately, the company was in a good position. Before the pandemic, they had moved one of their facilities in a large storage facility in Quebec. With the help of BDC Advisory, they installed more user-friendly ERP system, and they redesigned their factory layout to improve the flow of materials and effectively allowing them to double their assembly efficiency. More on sustainability and diversity. We're going to have our next speaker on the podium talk about this. But at BDC, we find ways to stand out, to be more competitive, and attract customers that are important to us, and we want to drive sustainability. In 2013, we certified as Canada's first B Corp bank and the movement's national partner in Canada. For those of you who don't know, B corporations are recognized as a force for good, meeting high standards of social and environmental performance, accountability, and transparency. Some of the diversity initiatives that we're leading are the Black entrepreneurs. We've invested over $135 million in programs supported by Black business communities, including the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund, which offers financing of up to $250,000, is led by Federation of African Canadian Economics. The Indigenous entrepreneurs, BDC also has long history working with Indigenous entrepreneurs. We appreciate their unique histories, culture, and contributions in Canada, and are committed to listening. And we're committed to listening, learning, and taking actions toward reconciliation. We have offered Indigenous entrepreneurs loan with financing up to $350,000. It has a preferred rate and no processing or annualized administration fee to grow sales for their business. Women entrepreneur. In 2015, we took a leading role in supporting women entrepreneurs in all fronts, providing financing, capital, and free training, and connecting them with partners. Some of the highlights on the Women Entrepreneur initiatives are, in 2021, we worked with Alterna Savings to expand financing for women, Black social entrepreneurs. And in 2022, we launched our $500 million Thrive program to support Canadian women-led businesses to allow them to grow and have a lasting impact. So we have nearly 11 million visits on our BDC site. We provide a ton of free content for entrepreneurs via our BDC site. I invite every one of you to open their cell phones and visit bdc.ca. BDC has attracted around 11 million visits. This reflects our continuous effort to offer high quality, useful and inspiring content to help entrepreneurs address their challenges that they face. In the website, you can find business templates for startup businesses that are interested to know how to create a business plan, and many more information about BDC solutions, financing, advisory, and growth capital. Some of the things that we don't do grants, term deposits, lines of credits, non-commercial loans, residential loans, bank accounts, and credit cards. So thank you everyone, and we'll open the floor for questions.
Token to Jumper, and I also call on Yaya as a senior career diplomat, respected for the great work he has done, including being Pakistan's ambassador to the Netherlands.
Now it's time to recharge with lunch. Please make your way to the dining area, enjoy your meal, and take this opportunity to network with fellow attendees. We'll reconvene in exactly 1 hour at 12:30.
No,
For more,
2:30.
sorry, 2:30. We'll reconvene in exactly 1 hour at 2:30 for more inspiring sessions at the Business of Planning Conference. Thank you.
Lunch. And this next applause has to be for how you all feel being here today on a Saturday. So come on. This will tell you how agile this entire organizing team has been. So this fireside chat was supposed to be with Sandra Odunda, who's on the screen with us. However, this morning she found out she tested positive for COVID. Now, do we let that stop us in any way? There we go. And so what's going to happen is that Sandra's going to join us over Zoom. In her condition, she has said, this is her level of commitment. She has said she's still going to be with us, so let's give her a round of applause. And obviously, we can't let the other chair be vacant. So why won't we have an amazing BDC individual who's right amongst ourselves? So, may I please ask Paula Cruikshank, Senior Vice President, BDC, to join me on stage. And let's also welcome Sandra Udendal, who's the Director of Sustainability at DEI, and she's also the Senior Vice President for BDC. Sandra, can you hear us well?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I think we can open up. This is going to be. Are we good here?
Paula's mic. Second mic. I think I think mics together.
Are we going to be good here?
No, because you're 2 mics together, so I think 1 mic you're with the other.
So maybe we should.
Oh.
It's off. All right, let's try one more time. Sandra, can you hear us? Okay. We'll try to make this as much as possible, gentlemen. We all need all of you to be patient with us. We're all trying to cope with a certain situation. All right, so with that, before we get too thick into the subject, Paula, why don't you kick us off? Give us a bit about yourself and frankly the journey to your learning forward.
Sure, I'll project as far as I can, and hopefully you can hear me. Or I can use a mic, but I'm worried about feedback.
Let's try to
Let's see how it's all.
We'll try it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So second, what I would tell you is that I am a bit of a career banker. I used to be a subject matter expert, and in that I was doing structured finance. And structured finance, you may recall, in the financial crisis, was a bit of a challenged area. And so the Canadian government took over that asset-backed securities market and tried to bring it back to life. And so that's what took me from the chartered bank that I was working in to BDC. And I was able to set up a business there and work in structured finance. But eventually, working directly with entrepreneurs started to look more and more interesting. And so in 2017, I went, after 8 years at BDC, to Vancouver, where I started to work in our core business as the Senior Vice President in BC and North. And then during COVID, I got to come back to Ontario. So I've been running BDC's Ontario operation for about 3 years now, and it's been an amazing experience. We've got a great team in Ontario, and it's been wonderful working with partners such as yourselves.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Sandra, why don't you give us a bit about your story and your journey to your current goal?
Sure, thank you. So, Sakib, are you able to hear me very well?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. Okay, thanks very much, and thanks for accommodating my my fortunate code status. So I've been with BBC for just a little more than a year and a half. I joined after I was previously the head of sustainability and social impact at one of Canada's big charter banks for a few years. But I've been working in the area of sustainability and specifically sustainability in finance for over 20 years. I like to say that I started working on sustainability before it was called ESG, and certainly before it was cool. I'm actually originally I started my career as an engineer working in the resource sector doing environmental and social impact assessment, and I got into banking as a risk analyst. Not thinking I was going to make a long career in banking, but loved it and had the opportunity to stay and build corporate sustainability, social impact, social innovation programs at a few banks over the last 20 plus years. I also had a short stint as CEO of a 12-person carbon technology firm based out of Calgary. My constant thread in my career is a fascination with the tension between the need for economic development and jobs and stuff, making stuff that everybody needs to live, but also how do you do that while you protect community, social values, and the environment. I find that super interesting, and it's an interesting challenge for all of us.
It sure is, Sarah. And what we're going to do is move this over a little specifically into an area. Sarah, with this around ESG, social, environmental, governance, if you really think about it, there's such a lot of confusion out there. So, Sandra, help us distill the signal from the noise. What's really important, and while you're at it, give us a trend that you are seeing these days.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, yeah, there's a lot of confusion around ESG. So I'm going to start with just distinguishing between sustainability and ESG. In practice, the terms are used interchangeably, but you almost have to know who you're talking to know what they are really talking about. Because ESG is actually a framework originally designed for investors to incorporate financial, material, non-financial information, and specifically environmental, social, and governance, ESG, into investment analysis and decision making. So it's a really helpful framework for companies and investors to make sure you're identifying and managing the important non-financial issues that may indeed turn into issues that affect the value of a business, identify blind spots, and so on. Sustainability is really all about a way to look at long-term success of a company, of a country, of the world. It's based on the concept of sustainable development and the idea that you need to balance economic, social, and environmental objectives in the world and in your business. if you're going to have long-term success and contribution to society. So in short, ESG makes sure that you're considering everything in addition to financial stuff, and sustainability makes sure that you're considering economic, environmental, and social, and it takes for granted that governance is going to overlay the whole thing. In terms of the, so I don't know if that's helpful or more confusing, but it really means that you need to think about environment, social, economic, and governance really when you're trying to balance your objectives. In terms of specific trends and issues in ESG and sustainability, I think the one that, to highlight, of course, is, currently the massive amount of effort and the huge amount of spending that's currently being directed at tackling climate change and decarbonizing the economy. I think everybody's, everyone's heard the term probably low carbon economy or energy transition thrown about. And what that really means is that for the world to start to pull back on the things that we're doing that are driving climate change in the long term, we're going to have to drastically retool the economy. The whole world is busy at this. We want to virtually eliminate emissions of greenhouse gases by 2050 or reach net zero, which basically means that over the next 30 years, we're going to have to change the way that we do everything. It's going to affect the way that we produce goods, it's going to affect how we move people and things around, it's going to affect how we generate electricity, how we store it, how we use it, how we harvest it.
Our sustainability, how they are jamming with us in the entrepreneurial community, how they are lighting a green path with their unwavering commitment to sustainability. And in the process, they are taking small businesses along. I have been one of the beneficiaries and customers of BDC. They held my hand when nobody else did. Cut the long story short, BDC, and you saw their commitment that there was this amazing lady laid up with COVID, yet she joined in, and thank you very much, Sandra, for what you have done today. So BDC's people are still here. You can relate to them, you can talk to them. This is the bank for the entrepreneurs, and thank you for being with us for next year. They commit 1 year in advance. Who does? Who does? So with this, and one of the most beautiful sentences during the day came from Chapel, the young man who said, "I see no color." We are a species. There are no races. We don't have any subspecies. There is nothing physically or chemically that differentiates us. Zero. In fact, what differentiates us with the primates and apes is too little, minimal. Only thing that clearly differentiates us is that we talk sense. And when we don't talk sense, that differentiation is done. So, ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, I'll invite someone. And Sandra, do you give us the permission to hand your trophy to Paula?
I don't think she can hear you that way because the phone is over there.
Okay, so that's okay. So I will assume the permission. I am now the technical reason excuse the permission. So I will invite someone who has braved a very individual flight come with us today. Abu Bakr, the President-elect of Open Global, may I request you to come and give our Thank you for bringing it.
Get ready to be inspired as we welcome a distinguished leader to the stage. Our next speaker is a true global visionary, shaping the course of one of the world's most iconic brands. With a remarkable journey that spans continents and corporate giants, he brings a wealth of experience and a heart-driven approach to leadership. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the Global Chief Executive Officer of KFC, Sagar Sani.
The agenda and the outline for today, I was confused as to why I'm being invited. I'm not an entrepreneur, and I'm definitely not an expert in climate control or sustainability. But you know, as a business on KFC, we are 98% franchise, and all our franchisees are entrepreneurs. And of course, climate control and sustainability are a key part of our strategies going forward as well. So within that context, you know, it's really a pleasure to be here with you all. So with that, we at KFC, we always start, we believe we're in the business of people, right? So we start with, let me show you a little bit about the business.